This is the penultimate episode in a mini-series as part of ADHD Awareness Month 2024. So there were meant to be 8 mini episodes, but there's one more to come. This year's theme is Awareness is Key. And I've asked the members of the ADHDAF online peer support community, the Leopard Print Army, what key pieces of awareness they want raised. So I'm using the platform to amplify the voices that have gone unheard, those that have been misdiagnosed, mistreated, and misheard for far too long. What you're about to hear are 3 little segments from 3 crucial conversations held over Zoom with the community members. Please bear in mind that this isn't studio recording quality because this isn't a studio recorded podcast. These are informal but very important chats had over Zoom. So if we get a little bit wobbly or there's a little bit of a robot underwater voice, you know why. But please persevere and listen, and please do share. Each one of these legends raise such important points that are essential for society to be made aware of. Please do have a read of the description before listening on to avoid hearing any topics that you might find triggering. In those show notes, you will also find a link to free and immediate support. So if you are in need, please do reach out. I'm now going to leave you with the wise and important words of Toni, Louise, and Kirsty.
Hi, my name's Toni and I was diagnosed with ADHD at age 46. I was also diagnosed at university with dyslexia and I was told I had a type A personality, and that was age 24. So I've had 20 years of wondering what is wrong with me and not understanding that it was actually ADHD. And I'm quite disappointed that the university didn't pick that up. But I was a young girl, so obviously that's why I was misdiagnosed. My diagnosis story was pretty simple, that I got diagnosed in 9 months. I managed to get to the top of the waiting list. I got my diagnosis and assessment really quickly. So I was quite fortunate in that way. But what I would like the world to know about ADHD is how much it hurts people when they question our diagnosis. So because I've maths for all my life, I've got a quite professional job and I do quite important things in my work life. So when I talk to people about my ADHD, including family and friends, they often go, really? I don't think you've got it. That really, really hurts. Would we say that to somebody if they said, I've got arthritis? Would we go, really? Have you? We wouldn't do that with any other condition. And the fact that it's so normal for everybody to be able to do that. When you say those words, just think about the impact they're having on that person. Like for me, 20 years of not knowing why I was making all these mistakes. When the doctor validated it and said, this is my condition, it was so life-changing for me. But then when friends and family or general people question it, I just go right back to the beginning. It takes me right back to the bottom of the roller coaster or the top. And then I have to go through all that honesty again, all that self-questioning, all that self-doubt. Just think, would you say that to somebody with arthritis, diabetes, any other condition? You wouldn't. So please think twice about that. If you've got that opinion in your head, keep it there because that's where it needs to stay.
Hi, I'm Louise. I'm up in the Highlands in Inverness. I was also Anita Dram at Flackstock when I did the burlesque workshop. Yeah, I've got ADHD. Found out about 2 years ago now. So I think the main thing I wanted people to know about ADHD, and I think as it did say for Flackstock, it was that everybody is different. I just kind of wanted to expand on that a little bit, just the fact that, we all have different types. We've all got different, it could be hyperactive, could be inattentive, could be both, could be different severities. And even within that, there are so many little nuances to each single person with ADHD that you can never assume. Let people tell you how they're affected. It's good to make people feel safe and that they can just be themselves and that they're not going to be judged for anything. We're all a pretty open bunch. If anything, we're very much oversharers. So always ask. We will happily tell you most things. If we start talking about it, we usually won't stop. And I think just as well, the nice thing is about sort of speaking about it is it gives people that safety to come to you as well. I found since I've been diagnosed, the amount of people that have got in touch who I've possibly known my whole life or just met, and it's mentioned and they've come to me later and been like, can I ask you questions? Because I suspect I have it, or I know somebody with it and I want to know how to support them. Can you just give me some information? And that's been brilliant, just to know that you can encourage that and you can be supportive and understanding of other people's experiences, and to just, keep getting that knowledge out there, because it's not a one size fits all, unfortunately. We're all trying to figure out our own ways about things. We find out new bits and pieces every day. I only found out from listening to the episode the other day that of a way that I'm affected that I hadn't even realized before. And it just dawned on me then. So there's always something more to learn. So we can find, the nice thing is there are people out there, big community of people who understand, won't judge you, to learn from each other, really. It's easy for ourselves to be ableist, actually. And a bit of ableism within ourselves and the community at times, where we don't realize that kind of constant feeling of, I should be able to do that. And getting annoyed at yourself for not being in positions in life that you think you should be at by now, or why can't I manage this? Why can't I? And I'm bad at forcing myself to do things because I don't see why I can't. And then getting annoyed because I can't. And then I'll have a full breakdown and be like, well, I mean, you knew you've done that 5 times and it's never worked. Why would it work this time? But I think we do have that. And then we also can look at other people and be like, I can't believe they've just done that. I can't believe they said this or they reacted that way. And it's then also being aware that that's possibly not what they meant, that we have, we've got different neural networks. So we will understand things completely different to have somebody said it, or we might have just been had complete miscommunication or misunderstanding. And it's so easy done without realizing that we kind of need to give ourselves and others that space to be like, okay, can we just break this down a little bit and figure out what's going on before both of us get angry or get angry at ourselves. And I can go into full meltdowns where I just blame myself for everything and I'll be horrible to myself. And that negative self-talk will really, really ramp up. And it's really hard to just get yourself out of that cycle and be like, well, wait a minute, you know why this is happening. But when you're in that, no, you can't see that. Getting a bit better. I've got reminders sometimes to be like, this happens. Here's the backup plan. But I forget I've got a backup plan, or I forget where the reminder is to tell myself to be nice to myself.
Hi, I'm Kirsty. I'm in Oxfordshire. I was diagnosed with combined ADHD in January last year, aged 41, having realised early on in 2021 that it explained everything about me. Over the previous 20 years, I've been diagnosed with borderline personality disorder in my early 20s, but I only discovered that fun fact after requesting my medical records in 2022. Diagnosed with clinical depression, generalised anxiety disorder, and then finally bipolar 2, for which I was medicated accordingly. A deeply unpleasant experience and very unhelpful. It took over a year to convince my GP to refer me right to choose after local services stopped taking referrals. Once they did, I waited 4 months. Then it was another 7 months to start titration, which was paused due to the medication shortages, eventually restarted in April this year. I've just had my shared care agreed, and for that I'm incredibly grateful, as many aren't so fortunate. To those who say we just want a label, you are wrong. A lot of us have already been labelled incorrectly our entire lives. What we're looking for is answers. I went round in circles for years, not understanding what was wrong with me, knowing they weren't getting it right, and I nearly didn't make it. I am the one in 4. Most of us late diagnosed are exhausted from playing our whole lives on extreme mode. We deserve a fair chance at what life has to offer, and we have to keep fighting until we are the exception and not the norm. Early diagnosis saves lives, particularly in girls and women. It shouldn't take this long for us to be seen and heard, and it has to stop here.
Oof, it really does. It has to stop here. Things have to change. We have to continue to fight and push for systemic change. And the way we do that is together. So we would be extremely grateful if you could help us raise ADHD awareness this month by sharing this episode. You can also help us by hitting those stars, writing a review, or if you're listening on Spotify, by commenting on the Q&A, as each of those things helps to get the word out there and spread these crucial messages far and wide. If you'd like to connect with a whole host of like-minded legends like these 3, you can join the ADHDAF peer support community via the link in the show notes, where you will also find a link to free and immediate support. I will also put a link to find out more about ADHDAF Plus charity. Though only in its infancy, we're just starting out, this podcast, and in turn the community, has been the inspiration behind this charity, connecting and empowering ADHD adults of marginalised genders. Although all things ADHDAF will fundraise for the charity, it is an entirely separate entity. Over the coming months, we will get cracking in England and Wales, and once we are fully up and running, we will be extending into Scotland also. Follow along on socials on ADHDAF plus, the word plus. I'm very, very excited to tell you this coming Friday is the 3rd annual ADHDAF Day, which is an online event in which we paint the world leopard print to raise ADHD awareness. All you have to do to take part is simply wear leopard print, as many or as few items as you like, something as small as a handbag or a scrunchie, or you can go head to toe. And then you can stand in solidarity online with our leopard print army by posting a selfie or video of yourself in leopard print, explaining what you would most like the world to know about ADHD. Then just tag ADHDAF podcast, hashtag ADHDAF Day, and we can watch as we paint the world leopard print once again to get the world to hear us all roar. And if you don't know why the ADHDAF community wear leopard print, I explain more in the previous mini episodes, all of which we would be so incredibly grateful if you could share. Let's join forces and get the world to listen to us this ADHD Awareness Month. The system has got to change. Lives depend on it.